For about 8 or 9 years, I had served in Atlanta with federal law enforcement in the Odell program, Office of Drug Abuse Law Enforcement. Spent a year or so undercover. That was a program set up by Richard Nixon, and it primarily targeted street-level heroin dealers. And I grew up in New York. When I was in the military, I spent about a year in Los Angeles and San Francisco at the height of the Haight-Ashbury thing. And so I'd seen marijuana and I'd seen other drugs, and I saw the evil in things like heroin, barbiturates, amphetamines. Saw no real evil in marijuana, never did. And I never really understood any kind of law enforcement emphasis directed at marijuana. Always perceived it as a fairly benign substance. And then when I lost my son, we were in a situation where we really, really wanted to become involved, and we wanted to do it the right way, and we thought that we were doing God's work by helping people, military prior with PTSD, people that were taking all sorts of pharmaceuticals to control epilepsy when derivatives of cannabis work so much better, people that were on chemotherapy, having trouble eating enough to stay healthy during the chemo process, and it would enhance appetites and would be a very positive thing for people in that unfortunate situation. And so we really felt like we had an opportunity to get involved and do it right. My son was a soldier. Of all my children, he had the gentlest, kindest heart, and the things he experienced in combat, the death and destruction, the loss of his friends, it really played heavy on his heart. He was a disabled combat veteran, not only from PTSD, but he had lost hearing in one ear from an explosion on his Humvee that actually hurt his lieutenant far worse than it did my son. And another soldier died in that particular explosion. He also had back injury and other minor injuries. He was in a position where he could have gratefully benefited from legal cannabis. And some of them, like Ambien and Xanax, and I don't even know the names of the majority of the drugs that the VA was supplying him, to try to get a little bit of sleep, try to get a little bit of comfort. And I really think the cannabis could have helped my son. And he passed away. He drank way too much with all those chemicals, and he had a heart attack. And it's not about money. I'm comfortable with what I have, and I'm able to provide for my children and grandchildren. All of them have been successful, and I want to have them included in it. For example, you have to have a physician. Well, my daughter's married to a physician, an anesthesiologist, and my sons are in the business and they're taking it over. I'm kind of older, and now my grandchildren are interested, and I want it done right. And we've all talked about it, and my sons and my daughter, we feel that we have a moral obligation to the memory of my son Matthew to pursue it, and that's what we intend to do at any cost and any effort.